Hello, my name is Kelsea O'Rourke. I am, for my term project, doing an interview of my ex-mother-in-law. So this lovely lady here, if you can see it, this is Kartini Ellis, originally Kartini Malewa. She was born Malaysian royalty, so she's actually a princess of one of the regional pirate tribes in Singapore. She was born in Singapore in 1950, she said, in a very small village. She was the youngest of 8 children. So, yeah, she grew up in Singapore. So when I asked her about what the cooking practices and values were like, she said that her mother was a nurse, and so she worked a lot, and so it was her brothers and sisters cooking. So it was very simple and minimalistic, but the flavors were still all super, super good. So usually rice with everything, which that's very typical for Asian cuisine, because Singapore is kind of a very small island. There was a lot of fish, a lot of potatoes, and then usually just a lot of really good spices. There wasn't a lot of fresh fruits and veggies. There wasn't really a major concern about calorie content. It was just what was whole foods and available and flavorful that they could get. Malaysian or Singaporean culture is influenced by a bunch of different surrounding countries because it's an island kind of right in the middle of everything. So there's a ton of Indonesian influences, there's a ton of Indian influences, there's Chinese. Kartini is actually half Malaysian or Singaporean and half Chinese. So there's so many different flavor profiles and traditional dishes and things like that that originally come from other countries, but they're adapted into the Singaporean lifestyle and culture. How do her experiences differ from common cooking practices? So she said that their kitchen was really basic. They didn't have a lot of tools. They had a wok, they had like a big wooden spoon, and so pretty much anything that could be cooked in that wok was effective. A lot of times it was even done over an open fire outside or under an open grill grate. Growing up in the 50s, she didn't have access to a microwave. They didn't get an oven until I think she said she was 15 or 16. So it was really basic practices. And even their cooking oils that they used, they made themselves. She actually absolutely hates coconut oil because her brothers used to make it from fresh coconuts, and she just can't stand the smell because it would constantly be there. So she hates coconut oil because they made their own oil. That was pretty cool, I found. How the way that she was raised definitely affected her food choices and cooking practices. So being that there was no major focus on health, it was just feeding 8 children as a single mother, which her mom was. It was her cooking style is now very basic, minimalistic, flavorful. It's usually rice, meat, potatoes, maybe some green onions, unless she's doing like a traditional Indian or Indonesian meal. The importance of a healthy meal wasn't very important. Rice and fish were healthy, and they're whole foods. They're pretty clean, so that's really cool. Traditional cooking practices that she still does today. Oh my god. So I lived with this woman for 7 years, and she's constantly cooking Indian, Indonesian, traditional Malay. So there's traditional foods like paratha, which is a fried Indian bread that's like doughy and sticky and has all the gluten. It's so good. And you can either make it sweet or salty. My favorite thing that she does is that she would make this yellow curry, and she would put chicken or beef in it, but oftentimes it's vegetarian because it's originally an Indian dish. And you would tear off a piece of this delicious doughy fried bread and just pick up the meat. It was so good. Another one that she would do is beef rendang, which is an Indonesian spicy meat dish. That was super yummy. Mee goreng. That's a fried thin noodle that originated in India. They tend to be really spicy. You can do like tofu or chicken. So her traditional cooking is the best. Healthy substitutes that she recommends for our cooking practices today. She doesn't really care. She's actually a type 2 diabetic and she eats whatever she wants. However, she's obsessed with an air fryer, and that is her go-to thing. That air fryers are the best because they're super easy and convenient, like how she grew up. I wanted to end by saying that if you ever want to try food like hers, in the Grove in LA, there's this restaurant called Singapore Banana Leaf. Get the paratha with the yellow curry and the mee goreng with added tofu. They are the best. Thank you.